Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have a copy of tonight's agenda in front of you. I'll entertain a motion to approve that agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any changes or corrections to the agenda? All those in favor of approval of the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Agenda is approved. Included in your packets with a copy of our minutes from our January 12, 2015 regular council meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
I'll second too.
Any changes or corrections to those minutes? All those in favor of approval of the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Minutes are approved. At this time, we will address visitors in the audience. First of all, are there any visitors in our audience tonight that would like to speak to the council on any agenda item that we'll be discussing later? Please identify yourself now so I know who to call on. Seeing no one, we will continue on. We are under general visitor comments. First up, we have some special guests in our audience tonight. We have a contingent from our sister city in Petatlan, Mexico. And we have 4 students. We have their, I don't know, call them their leader, their director, their person in charge from Petatlan. We've got a couple people from Gustavus, as well as our committee, the Sister City Committee representative. Please come up and I'll call him Chaz Brown. Chaz is the person who represents the committee and is used to be the intern at Gustavus and accompanied myself and the city contingent when we first went to Petatlan. And now you are an employee of Petatlan, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So that apparently it was a good move. We hope you're doing well on it. Why don't you introduce the people you have with and give us some information on why you're here, what you're up to.
Sure, thank you, Tim, and thank you, City Council, for inviting us here tonight. My name is Chaz Brown. I currently work at the Technological University in Petatlan, our sister city of St. Peter. And I am here with a group of 4 young ladies who participate in a language program on Saturdays at that university. They're here to participate in a cultural linguistic program. So they are taking English classes during the day with a private instructor, and they're staying with host families in the evening where they get the cultural immersion and linguistic immersion as well. I will turn it over to them, but before I do that, I believe you are all aware of a particular donation that the City Council approved for the city of Petatlan, which was a fire truck. And I wanted to say thank you on behalf of Petatlan. And I wanted to say personally, I drive by the fire truck every day on my way to work. So I really appreciate that, and I think you should know that the city of Petatlan actually painted the fire truck so that it says donated by the city of St. Peter. And so St. Peter is very present in the community of Petatlan. So without any further ado, I will turn it over to, where's Violeta? Violeta, and then Fernanda, and, sorry, Aurora, and then Fernanda, and then Pat.
Okay, hi, good night. First, thank you for having us here. This program has been something amazing for me because I can improve my English. So, and I haven't seen the snow before, well, in this quantity. People say me that it isn't a lot of snow right now, but for me it's a lot. Yeah, I studied English at the Language Center at the University in Petatlan, and now I'm taking French in the same place. And, well, I was talking with my little sister. She wants to do this in a couple of years when she gets older. And I told her, Petatlan, I usually write my name on the beach, and now I wrote my name on the snow. Thanks again for having us here.
I would like to add, Violetta is the daughter of Miguel. Miguel he was one of the contingents that came to St. Peter, I believe it's about 2 years ago. So her dad has been here, and he's one of the local business people in Petatlan, runs a hardware store, if I'm not mistaken. So, thank you very much.
And if I may cut in to make another connection, when my husband went with Gustavus a couple years ago, he was hosted by the Adventis family, and so we have a special connection as well.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, my name is Aurora, and I'm from Petatlan, and I'm 15 years old. And I think this student change is very good because we can learn more about English and practice our English. And I think St. Peter is too beautiful. I love the architecture of here because it's different to the Petatlan. I love this. Also, we can learn more about food, things, new people, and culture. Last week, I tasted the water soup, and the people told me it's a typical food of here, and in my opinion, it's so delicious. I like it. And thank you for this opportunity to practice our English. Thank you, my host family. My host family is Annabelle Verde, and she's so amazing, funny, and helps me when I need something, and she's so funny. And Linda is my English teacher here, and one of the things that I like to learn in the English class is snow words, because I never hear about this, and how betcha is so good, and I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Fernanda. I have 15 years old. And personally, I just wanted to say thank you for the invitation. Personally, I don't like snow, but St. Peter is a beautiful city. And I hope to learn a lot about English in the time we have here. My family, the Taylors, they are very cute. It is a beautiful experience. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patty. I'm 16 years old and I'm starting high school in Petatlan. I want to say thank you for inviting us here to talk and you want to listen about this amazing experience. I think this is something really useful for ourselves because we are learning to be more independent and we are improving our English and learning some other cultures that we don't know because this is really different from Petatlan. And I'm loving St. Peter. I will miss the city and the snow, but I'm not missing the cold. So we have been going to a high school, to Spanish class. I think that it's one of my favorite experiences here. Thank you for all, and the people here is really kind and nice. Thank you so much again.
Okay. I really wish we would have had a snowstorm here, because I think if we had more snow for activities, you may learn to like it to the extent that you can at least enjoy it. We have an event coming up on Wednesday where just out over here there's going to be try for sledding. Can't do sledding without
snow on it, and it's something there that I think can be very fun. So if you do not or are not able to experience that, it's too bad. But enjoy your stay while you're here. Thank you.
Thanks.
Give him a hand.
visitors in the audience tonight that would like to speak to the council on any item whatsoever? Seeing none, we will continue on with the business portion of the meeting. First up is approval of the consent agenda. The resolution to approve the consent agenda is on page 25, 26, and 27, and includes property which is to be declared as surplus. There's a lot of items on there that I'm not going to list it. It's up on the screen. You can read through that at your convenience, but there's a lot of items that we are declaring so that we can properly dispose of it through public sale. We have 2 license applications. Temporary on-sale beer license for the Knights of Columbus for March 20th, 2015, and a temporary on-sale liquor license for the Nicollet County Historical Society for February 8th, 2015. Councilmember Brand is appointed to serve as a city council representative on the Solus Project Steering Committee. And we have the schedule of disbursements from January 8th through January 21, 2015 to be approved. That resolution's on page 25, 26, and 27. What is the council's wishes?
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any further discussion? Questions? Call the roll.
Councilmember Brand.
Aye.
Councilmember Garland.
Aye.
Mayor Strand.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
Aye.
Councilmember Zeman.
Aye.
Councilmember Grimes.
Aye.
Councilmember Paris.
Aye.
The consent agenda passes. We have no unfinished business tonight. We'll go into our new business. First item up is adoption of a resolution approving the execution of a joint powers agreement for the Minnesota River Valley Drug Task Force. Chief Peters.
Thank you, Mayor.
Saddle up.
I'm here. I'm ready to roll. Mayor and Council, what you have before you is a resolution to approve a joint powers agreement for our participation with the Minnesota River Valley Drug Task Force. You see in that resolution the agencies that are involved: Nicollet County, Blue Earth County, City of Mankato, North Mankato, St. Peter, Nicollet County. I'm probably missing a couple in there.
Watonwan County.
Watonwan County, St. James,
Madelia.
Madelia. Thank you. We have been a member of the Drug Task Force for several years. What we're doing here with is really reaffirming through the resolution that the council still supports this concept of the joint powers agreement. It's really what we want to do and what we're required to do as part of our participation because of the funding, which mostly comes from grants. And so the state asks that we have resolutions from city councils supporting this concept. So that's really what it's about. I also pointed out that entering into these agreements, if you will, is because drug enforcement is a very technical, time-consuming, and really special type of work that we can't do on our own. And to have a group of agencies doing it is really the best way to do business, and is recommended by best practices not only in the industry but by our insurer. They ask that we enter into joint powers agreements, which lay out roles and responsibilities and, of course, liability issues, how it's insured. And it allows us to also add additional insurance to our policy, which we do through the joint powers agreement. The City of St. Peter, this year we budgeted $15,000 for our participation in the joint powers agreement to work with the Drug Task Force. We are actually billed per capita population. The reason we budgeted $15,000 is because we anticipated that we would lose some grant funding this year, which we did not lose, and then we would have had to raise our per capita. So each agency was budgeting, kind of preparing for that, although that did not occur. But at the time we submitted our budget, we did not know what the situation would be. So that's why you see I stated in there we budgeted 15,000. We're actually billed just for our population, which is 11,500 and some dollars. So that's really how it works. You see the details of the joint powers agreement are also in the, I guess it's not in the PowerPoint, but as part of your packet. It really lays out, as I said, board of directors, roles and responsibilities, and it allows us to have a single unit of government, if you will, to conduct drug enforcement. And I promised the mayor, try to keep it short, so I'm doing the best I can. He accused me of being long-winded. So maybe it's better if I try to answer questions instead of reading the memo.
And we did discuss this at a workshop last week, so.
Yes.
Council have questions of Chief Peters?
No, the only question I asked Todd today was about the, $1 per capita, and then you addressed that just now with the, we budgeted 15, but we'll
Yeah.
actually get billed 11,500.
Exactly, yeah, we just didn't know because the grant comes out after the budgeting process, and
That makes sense.
it's hard to guess.
Right, makes sense.
And as a reminder, this is basically continuing on with the agreement that we've been doing for several years.
Yes, since 1999.
Okay.
We wanted to reaffirm with all of the city councils, county boards are going through the same process to reaffirm through resolution they support it. That's important for us to get the grant in the future.
Are any communities dropping out?
No.
Any new ones
Well,
for this year?
no, not for this year. We are in discussions with at least one other agency, but it's not something I can talk about here.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. Any questions of Chief Peters? A resolution to approve this updated joint powers agreement is on pages 37 and 38. What's the council's wishes?
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Councilmember Carlin.
Aye.
Mayor Strain.
Aye.
Councilmember Tony.
Aye.
Councilmember Zimmerman.
Aye.
Councilmember Grahams.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Councilmember Brand.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next is the adoption of a resolution authorizing DeWild Grant and Record to provide mapping services.
Mayor members, Pete is here to discuss this. The names that the mayor read off might be unfamiliar because we normally say DGR. Pete.
Mayor and council, we're here tonight to ask for $15,000 or that you authorize DGR to complete mapping to meet spatially correct detail and provide paper and electronic copies of that mapping to us. As you're probably aware, we budgeted for this expense last year, but due to the construction season, we didn't have time to collect a lot of this data for our engineer to make this work. So we did put it in the 2015 budget. The idea behind this is that the information that we can collect is incorporated into our plans and specs when we do city projects. What we found out is that during the course of our projects, a lot of this information isn't as accurate as we'd like it to be. And so our contractors have been willing to work with us. But if we can get correct data and information on plans as we prepare those specifications as well, we think we can get a little bit better prices in our cooperation. A good example of this was last year during the Washington Avenue link. Had we had that electrical information as accurate as we possibly could have, we probably would have seen a shorter timeline within the project. May not have come in any cheaper, but it certainly would have shortened the project. The mapping in the books kind of speak for themselves as far as our construction goes. We have to have very accurate information out there. We also have an investment in our GIS system, which you approved a couple of years ago, that we use for our water and wastewater systems and our stormwater systems. Our intention would be to take this and put it on our database map that Bolton and Mink has, and we'll work in conjunction with both engineering firms to make sure we have a solid project. We're asking that You look at the agreements on page 41 through 44 and the scope of work on 45 through 47, which talks about the fees associated with this, and approve the budgeted purchase with the resolution on page 48.
Pete, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of this is just, it's continuing work that we do to update the information for the city.
Correct.
So it's something that we continue to do. This is just updating a lot of the information that we have been doing for a long
Yep,
time.
we do have a lot of this information on as-built records. We can now go out and verify a lot of the locations and different circuits and different areas of town because of how we carry our electricity. The main thing is that we can get accurate records, and that's been a struggle for us. It takes a lot of staff time during construction projects to complete this. So we're trying to stay ahead of the curve here a little bit.
Okay. Any questions of Pete? Roger?
You said it's paper and electric copies, right? Do the electric copies require special software?
They do. They require software that we'll be using in conjunction with Bolton and Mink. And so we'll have it readily available at their office as well. We do not carry the software to update or carry that information outside the software that we use for our GIS system.
So Bolton and Mink has the
Yeah,
software?
our city engineer carries that software, and we wanted something that the two engineering firms could work together because DGR does a lot of the locating and different things as far as the projects are concerned. And so now we can get that information on our database map there.
So do we have an agreement with Bolton and Mink that they'll maintain that software? And
Yes, we do.
Okay.
That was through our GIS program that we had a couple of years ago.
okay.
And if you remember right, we bought some receivers, software package, and pretty much the agreement to manage that system.
Okay. I remember multiple softwares, but a couple of years ago was before my time.
Right. I believe it was about maybe 20 months ago, somewhere in that neighborhood. I can look at the exact date when we purchased it, but it's been about 2 years that we've had that, 2 winters.
Yeah. So we're not going to see extra expenses for that, though?
No.
Thank you.
Pete, we use DGR for a lot of our engineering for the electrical department. Is that how why we are using them for this project, or did we go out for bids, or are there other people that could have done this? How did we choose them?
Yep, sorry about that. Other people could do it, but when we do a lot of our design work as far as our circuits and our improvements to our system, sizing of our switches and transformers, DGR does that work for us, so they need this information as well.
Chuck?
Pete, where are we as far as the scope of this project? Is this completed now, or is this a continual? Are you going to be coming back to us next year for another phase, or where are we at?
No, this is an ongoing process. This really gets the core of the work done. Really now that all that needs to happen is staff can collect data using existing equipment and software to get any of the areas that we need to update. Otherwise, we'll be using existing equipment and information.
So anything beyond this is new? I mean, to expand on this? Do we have everything mapped out now that we want to have mapped out?
We don't have everything mapped out in electronic form, so a lot of this would be, we have great one-line diagrams, but a lot of that information is, we know where the boxes are located, we may not know where the existing primary or other lines run, and so what we'll do is we'll do some spot locations of those in the field, and then when crews are out there, in conjunction with stormwater, water, and wastewater identifications, they'll locate those locations to get the base map accurate.
I don't want to add complication to the discussion, but the decision that you made a couple of years ago was a very significant decision in where your mapping systems were going. And so this is an additional layer within that mapping system. And we don't want to mislead you. There will be a time when we will come back for additional hardware or for a software upgrade at some point, just like you see in your word processing document or any software that you use currently. But this, in essence, buys you the bowl and gets it started and puts us in a good format to continue to add grapes into that bowl. And we'll be the ones that will be adding that in because our crews will be gathering the data and downloading it to DGR and others to make that fit together. So,
Seedless?
seedless, because that's more efficient for you.
Organic.
And it helps your construction projects, and a lot of things go a lot more smoothly. Pete's right, when we have the appropriate data, and it's very solid, dependable data, it saves you money and it saves us just a boatload of time.
Yeah. We could have easily spent $15,000 working around contractor charges last year.
You bet.
And so even though we'd planned to have it before the Washington Avenue Lake project and we didn't have it done, the goal is now is we can see the benefit.
Pete, you have to excuse my ignorance, but how do you do this? I mean, do you take pictures of existing maps, or do you have somebody going out in the field and finding electrical lines, circuits, and then hosing that into some kind of computer, or?
Well, we'll take a lot of the lot sizes, right-of-way sizes from the county that they already have recorded. That'll be part of our base map. Then when we go out and look at our electrical system, we'll be able to, like I had mentioned earlier, we'll be able to spot locate lines and circuits within the field. And then staff will stand on there and using their global positioning, take a reading for that so it can be transferred to the map electronically.
Okay.
And then the lines will be drawn together and then we can see conflicts. Now, if we know depth, we can add that in. That's a big issue too when we're laying out future road projects if we need to change grades or elevations. And a lot of that information really saves time with our engineer up front, because the more information you have, the quicker the plans and specs come together and the more accurate they are. And contractors know that. If they go into a community and they don't have great information, they just add a little more per foot into the time. And if they have good information and they know staff will work with them to make these things happen, usually get pretty good bids.
So then at some point in the future, you can pull up a certain area of town and you can see all the piping and all the electrical lines?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Good. Thanks, Pete.
Any other questions? Resolution to approve authorizing these mapping services is on page 48. What's council's wishes?
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Mayor Strange.
Aye.
Councilmember Wood.
Aye.
Councilmember Zini.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Councilmember Raymond.
Aye.
Councilmember Garland. Aye.
Resolution passes.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Pete. Next is the adoption of a resolution approving modification to terms of revolving loans provided to Exceed Packaging and Chippewa Packaging.
Mayor Strand, members of the City Council, the EDA has recommended that you extend the balloon payment of 3 loans. In 2005, a $100,000 loan was made to partially finance the startup of Exceed Packaging. The balance of that note is $4,224. At that same time, their sister company, Chippewa Packaging, was started, and again in 2005, a second $100,000 loan was made to partially finance the startup of Chippewa Packaging. The balance of the Chippewa note is $42,433. In 2007, upon the expansion and the addition to the facility, the City Council approved a third $100,000 loan made to Chippewa Packaging. The balance of that note has been paid down to $71,836. So the original $300,000 in loans have been paid down to $118,493. The City Council had previously extended the balloon payments at Chippewa, first in 2010 and again in 2012. We have worked to nurture this company through the Great Recession. We've worked to nurture this company through a product recall. You have also at points authorized interest-only payments. And there was a period of time where you actually deferred the payments and accepted no monthly payment. The companies continue to improve. Chippewa has had its second year of net profitability, while Exceed is profitable before depreciation. The EDA had considered the request. They reviewed the company's financials through 2014. They entered into a dialogue with the ownership of the company, and at the conclusion of the meeting, the EDA has unanimously recommended that you provide an extension of the 3 balloon payments through calendar year 2016. To that effect, there is a resolution that's been prepared on page 51 and 52. And, Mr. Mayor, I'd answer any questions that may be raised with your blessing.
Questions? And I assume, if you've already answered this, through the last many years on it, they have kept up with the terms of the payments, the payment schedule, provided, I know that they requested some delays on it, but which we authorized, but they've kept up with everything that we have authorized.
There have been a very few number of delinquencies subject to that, but the company has made significant progress, especially in the last 2 years. They're current now, I would say, yes.
Russ, I don't know if you have this number on you, but approximately how many people do they employ between the two?
I've got that on my notes, and I failed to mention it, so thank you.
I was hoping you would mention it.
Thank you. Both companies are subject to the benefits of the Job Opportunity Building Zone program, although that is expiring at this time, not by anything that the company's done, it's just the entire program's expiring. That obligated them to maintain base level employment of 24 full-time equivalent positions. At this time, they have in excess of 70 full-time equivalent positions. It used to be that they were almost all part-time, and we'd add up the hours to get full-time equivalents. They've had to make some changes. They are running multiple shifts, so they are essentially almost all full-time employees that they would have. They've also had to modify their wages upward to be competitive within the area as well as within the industry. So 70 full-time equivalent positions.
Russ, if you would share, people hear these names, where are they located? Chippewa and Exceed are located in one of the former Onan buildings on Swift Street. I think this is 907, or this would be on the east side of Swift Street. Thank you.
Down by the Armory.
Yes, sir.
And perhaps for people who are listening at home, just a very, very quick update on what they actually do, what their business is.
Sure. Chippewa Packaging does packaging of general merchandise. Chippewa Packaging does food grade packaging then. So they have different criteria, different standards. Obviously, one has to worry about the foodborne issues, the food production. But yeah, between the two of them, it's either general consumer packaging or it's the food packaging.
Hey, Russ, do you know who some of their vendors that they work with? Do you know names of any of them?
All over. Nationwide companies. Walmart was mentioned. I know they had former affiliation with Kraft because their very first supervisor was a former Kraft employee. A number of national companies. So. They do meet all the standards. They get audited for the food safety, for the kosher issues. I'm very, very pleased with the performance of the company, especially in the most recent past.
Any other questions? A resolution to approve the modification of the loans to them is on pages 51 and 52. What's the council's wishes?
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Councilmember Bowman.
Aye.
Councilmember Zimmer.
Aye.
Councilmember Grant.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Councilmember Brand.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon. Aye. Mayor Strang.
Aye. Resolution passes. Thanks, Russ. That concludes our business portion of the meeting tonight. And I'll go into reports. I'll go up first on it. Since our last meeting, I was in attendance of a couple meetings at Region 9. Had a board of directors meeting, and we also had their annual Christmas gathering. It was a party of all their commissioners of Region 9. We gathered and just got together for an evening of socialization. On January 21st, we were very involved in 21st and 22nd. The council was very involved with interviews for the Public Works Director. First of all, we did a meet and greet on Wednesday, on the 21st. I think it was a very successful meet and greet. for the candidates that are applying for that position. And on the 22nd, they gave their presentations, and also the city council, the entire council was involved with interviews of the public works director candidates. We're now in the process of putting it all together and coming to a conclusion. Today I took time out to run up to Gustavus for the end of the Rotary program just to say hi to our Petatlan contingent. I purposely wanted to meet and greet them before they came to the meeting tonight on it, but it was just they were there to give their presentation at the Rotary Club. Our local Rotary Club helped sponsor some monies that went towards the Sister City Committee. So my wife is the secretary up there, and she said that they were very well received and appreciated. So it was a good thing. So I'll turn it over to you.
Mayor members, I'll be short and to the point. The mayor already covered Public Works candidates. I will mention that, as you're aware, 2 candidates completed the interview process last week on Wednesday and Thursday. A lot of folks participated, and I specifically want to thank you all for attending all the events that you had to attend. Certainly we had community members at some of the meet and greet activities, so we're very grateful to have community thought and input on that. And a lot of staff time, of course, was spent in making sure the candidates have an opportunity to know us, and certainly we have an opportunity to better know them. I would expect that in the next council cycle or 2, there'll be a recommendation forthcoming for the council to react to and take action on. And so I hope within the next couple of weeks, maybe at your next council meeting, there'll be an appointment as part of the packet. And that's all I have for you.
Right. Anyone else have anything further to offer for the benefit of all of us? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Meeting adjourned. I thank you for your participation tonight.
Just assessing the possible location, which we've been kind of working behind the scenes. So Pete's done a nice job. Pete's done a nice job.
Shut.
No, can't have it.
We'll keep his grade going.
Sweet. Then you will be tracked and hunted down by the